Gentlemen, this is Steve Harney, the founder of Keeping Current Matters. I want to start today a little bit differently. Being from New York and having lost a family member in the towers, I just want to say real quickly, let's remember the families of all those people that did lose their lives that day, because they go through this every single year. And the second thing is, this is America. In times of our greatest tragedies are also the times of the greatest show of heroism. And all of the first responders that responded that day throughout, let's really make sure that we understand how valuable they are to us. Right? It's important that we do that. That is no real good segue going from that to what I'm going to cover today. So I'm not going to try to be cute or clever and try to come up with a segue. I'm just going to go right to it. But just keep those people in your heart throughout the day. So let's share the screen and get going. What we want to cover today is the 3 advantages their current equity gives a homeowner when they're buying their next home. And I think this is really important for a lot of different reasons. Now, when we started this whole adventure into let's really make sure that we build a really good sellable listing inventory going forward, what we said was, market's a little bit crazy. So what do we need to do? Calm down, sit down, think, plan, act. You did a good job of calming down, sitting down, thinking. And I asked you over this past weekend to go ahead and really plan, what you expected to accomplish for this year going into next year. What were you going to do to really build your business so you finish 2023 strongly and you start 2024 with tremendous momentum? And now we're going to go to the last step, act. All right, because now we're going to give you some things that I think can help you build a real sellable inventory moving forward. But again, you know how I feel. The first job of a leader is to define reality. This is where, oh, I'm sorry, I missed a slide. Most agents know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening. Great agents, the people on this call, are here on a deep dive so that they can explain what's happening. That's the difference between a deep dive and a lot of other things that are out there. We want you to be able to explain exactly what's taking place. So again, let's go to reality. The point of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, very simply, is the fact that in every category, whether it be new listings taken, whether it be active listings, whether it be total listing count, we can see we're well below the last 3 normal years of 17, 18, and 19. So what do we know? We know we need inventory. Now, it's ridiculous for me to say this on the call with some of the great agents that are on this call, because you know that already. But I wanted you to see it in a real visual form and let your sellers know that too, or potential sellers know that too. This is a great time for them to sell simply because there's a lot less competition. But that usually means a better price and less contingencies. But something very, very interesting is happening. There's a great quote by Doug Duncan, the Senior Vice President, Chief Economist at Fannie Mae. It is easy to run your forecast ship aground by underestimating the American consumer. So what's happened when we're seeing what a lot of people are reporting as the inventory is dropping? Well, the housing industry is, going into the tank, and we're going to have years of this challenge where we're not going to be able to sell houses. Well, let's remember this quote. It's easy to run your forecast ship aground by underestimating the American consumer, because something really strange happened last week. Really strange. While inventory continues to be in short supply, August witnessed an unusual uptick in newly listed homes compared to July, hopefully signaling a return in seller activity heading toward the fall season, which typically is the best time to buy a home. So let's really visualize that. That gray bar that's going down is between July and August. And we can see that for the last 7 years, that number has been going from July to August. New listings actually went down. Now, I'll tell you, I've been in the business for about 35, almost 40 years now. And I can remember a year that it didn't go down between July and August. That's just a seasonality. That's what normally happens. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't 1 or 2 years an anomaly over my 40 years, but I only have 7 years of data, so that's what I'm showing you right now. But that is very unusual. There was an uptick. Whether that uptick continues, I'm not really sure. We'll wait for next month and the month after that's numbers. But what we're seeing perhaps is the seller saying, you know what? I've waited long enough. I'm over the sticker shock. wait a second, I can understand that I can buy a house and not worry about the mortgage, which is what we're going to talk about today. But that uptick is a lot of hope in that, because sellers are starting to think about, maybe it's time for me to get my house on the market. They're thinking about, hey, if I want to start the new year someplace else in a different job, a different part of the country, now's the time I have to get the house on the market. Now, what has caused people to really hesitate a little bit is the fact that interest rates right now, mortgage rates right now, are about 7%. And we see that the vast majority of existing mortgages are well below that. As a matter of fact, 70.7% of mortgages are under 4%. And if we put the other onto that, that's 91% of all mortgages are under 5%. And it's very difficult for someone who has a mortgage under 5% to say, yes, I'm going to sell and buy a house with a 7 or 7.5% mortgage. So we put this little pie chart together, trying to explain that a little bit. We can see that the people under 3%, that blood red up in the upper right-hand corner, unless they have to, unless there's a lifestyle change in it, they're probably not going to sell. They're not going to sell. If they're between 3 and 4%, the red at the bottom, they're probably not going to sell. And even if they're between 4 and 5%, they have to think hard before selling. Now, that percentage that's between 5 and 6, they're probably going to sell. They're not going to let that stand in the way. And obviously, whoever still has a mortgage over 6%, they're probably ready to go. But we can see that the majority of that pie is red. So what we have to take a look at is, for the people with mortgages, now again, these are people with mortgages, it's like, well, it's a real tough thing to do, to go ahead and sell. The survey just came out that says that mortgage rates are less relevant to older homeowners. If we look at the left, about 1 in 4 U.S. homeowners, 26%, say high mortgage rates would not impact their decision on when to sell their home. Well, that's 1 out of 4. If you have 8 people in the room, that's 2 of them. Of those 26% of homeowners, 43% say it's because they would not need a mortgage to buy a new home. Let's go over that again. Of the 26% that say mortgage rates don't really impact whether they're going to go ahead and buy a home right now, 43% of that 26% say it's because they would not need a mortgage. And it skews very heavily toward the baby boomers. All right. More baby boomers feel that way. Well, you know what? I don't need a mortgage, or I'm not afraid of taking out a mortgage than any of the other generations. We have to figure out, why is that? Why are baby boomers not afraid? And ladies and gentlemen, the answer to that is very, very simple. They have tremendous equity in their home. How much equity do they have in their home? Let's take a look at this pie graph. Now let's take a little bit of time to take a look at this. The dark green to the left, the 38.7%, that's the amount of people in the country right now that own their home free and clear. There is no mortgage on it. The 30% are people with more than 50% equity in their home, meaning if they owned a $400,000 house, they have at least $200,000 in equity. The 20.8% have between 30 and 50% equity. Tremendous equity in the country right now. Mortgages, the light blue line have between 10 and 30, and the orange line is between 0 and 9%. And the number of people in negative equity, when we take everything into consideration, is 0.12%. So ladies and gentlemen, let's concentrate a little bit, at least on that 38.7 and that 30%. That 68.7% have either no mortgage or have at least 50% equity in their home. Those are big numbers. And that's money like in a savings account for them. So if we move forward, we can see this just came out. As a matter of fact, this came out a couple of weeks ago. The average U.S. homeowner now has more than $274,000 in equity, up significantly from $182,000 before the pandemic. Of course, you know, prices really shot up. As a matter of fact, CoreLogic came out with a new report just Friday. We didn't get a chance to change the quote here. It's now $290,000 in equity the average homeowner has. So there's big numbers out there in equity. From 2010 through 2021, mortgage holders withdrew just under 1% of available tappable equity each quarter on average. Now, the reason that's important, remember back in 2006, everyone was using the house as an ATM. They were just, refinancing after refinancing after refinancing as their equity went up. And they would buy many depreciating assets. They buy a new car, they would buy jet skis, they would go on a lavish vacation. So they were trading in an appreciating asset for a depreciating asset. Didn't make any sense. The American public learned that. From 2010 to 2021, they withdrew only 1% of available tappable equity. And over the last 3 quarters, that number has actually fallen to 0.4%. That would suggest that nearly $200 billion has been left in equity. So why are we talking about the equity situation? Because I think that's a gold mine for agents right now looking for listings, an absolute gold mine, because people don't realize how much prices have gone up. We just took some cities right here. These are 10 metros where housing prices rose just because there was more remote working. All right, they could work remotely. And look at the numbers, how much that went up from May of 2020. Cape Coral, Florida, up 72%. If you owned a house for $100,000, it's now worth $172,000, a little over 3 years later. And we can see going down, there's tremendous equity built up. And here's a map showing the equity from 1991 to 2023. So those people that no longer have a mortgage, that already paid off their mortgage, well, if they've had that mortgage for 30 years, this is the amount of equity that they've built over that period of time, right? As a percentage of the original price. That's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Even if we just look at the last 5 years, and please get these maps out there, put them in your listing presentation manuals, put them on your phone. So when people talk to you, you can show them very easily. Because that equity, the amount of money they have in a savings account in their house, they can use right now in a really big way. Now, they could use it to help a child, an adult child that's buying a house. We know that 38% of all the first-time home buyers under 30 years old are getting help from a parent or a family member. Where do you think that help's coming from? The equity in the parent's home. They could help a child maybe pay off a student loan now that they're becoming due. They could start a business. There's a lot of reasons that they should know how much equity they have and what their options are because of that equity. But today I want to concentrate on one thing. Does that equity allow them to make a move at a time where so many people are afraid to make that move? So let's take a look at the 3 big advantages they have over someone without that equity. Number 1, their ability to be an all-cash buyer. No mortgage payments, and sellers may be more inclined to accept offers from buyers who make cash offers. They could go ahead and buy all cash. They have no mortgage payment. They don't care what the interest rate is, the mortgage rate is. Plus, they're going to get a better deal on the house because they're an all-cash buyer. Let them understand that, especially someone moving down. If they're living in a 4-bedroom colonial now, and all the children left for college, and in this generation, many of them came back afterwards, because the pandemic and everything else, but now they're gone again. They're living in a 4-bedroom colonial that the 65-year-old couple have to walk up a flight of stairs every night just to go to bed. Knees are creaking. They have to air condition that house, and this summer that cost them a fortune. They have to heat that house in the winter. They have to worry about the maintenance of that house. If they're looking to move down into a smaller 2 or 3-bedroom home, or even a condo, they could buy that condo cash and put money in the bank. But I don't know if they realize how much equity they do have. Survey after survey shows that people don't know. And if we go back to those maps, ladies and gentlemen, I'll bet there's a whole bunch of agents on this call that didn't realize that equity built that much. I'm sure that there are agents on this call that didn't realize that 38.7% of people own the house free and clear. Well, a lot of these people, they know they own the house free and clear, but they don't know what that equity amount is and what they can do with that money. Second advantage, ability to give larger down payment. A larger down payment results in lower monthly mortgage payments and better loan terms, more favorable mortgage or interest rates, and lower private private mortgage insurance costs, ultimately reducing the overall mortgage cost. So if they have plenty of equity in their home, they could go ahead and make the move. They don't have to worry about the mortgage rate as much, because they could put a substantial amount of money down. And again, they're a real good buyer. They might get a good deal on that. And ladies and gentlemen, the other thing I just want to throw in here, we're not going to cover it at length today, but the lower end of the market is done much better than the upper end of the market through this process. As interest rates went up, people were forced to buy a less expensive house. So what if these people are thinking about moving up? They got a real good deal on the move up. Also, number 3, access to assisted living residences. Whether making payments or buying into an assisted living facility, having cash after the sale of a home dramatically increases your options. Ladies and gentlemen, I am living through this right now with my mother-in-law. I have friends my age living through this with their parents. You know, there's a lot of age in place. Age in place means that they want to live in the same community they're in now. They want to be close to their family. They want to be close to their friends. It doesn't mean they want to live in that house. My mother-in-law is 92 years old. She can't live in the house she used to live in. But what she was able to do is she was able to take the equity from the house she moved into and move into a really beautiful assisted living residence. And people have to understand that if they're thinking about making that move now, that older generation, you know, those that are in the 70s and 80s right now, let's put our hearts out to those people. Let's make sure they understand what their options are. They don't have to stay in their house lonely, nobody around, again, going up and down the flight of stairs, worrying about the air conditioning costs, worry about the heating costs. They can get the help they need, and they can be around other people their age. My mother-in-law, she decided she wanted to go to assisted living. We didn't. But when she first got there, she was a little bit nervous. Now she's playing cards. She's enjoying its facilities. She's around people that she could really enjoy. Where when she was living with us, she talked a little bit about being bored and lonely because we were working, we were doing our own thing. Now she's around people with the same interests, with the same memories. And it's really cool. And off the record, this is definitely off the record, I think she found a boyfriend there, which is really cool. So there's plenty of things that the equity could do for people to help them make the next move from a housing standpoint. But what we need to do is we need to get that information out to them. We have to be very proactive in getting that information out to them. So why do I want to offer every single person on this call a way to do that? We here at KCM have developed what we call the Professional Equity Assessment Report. We call it a PAIR, P-E-A-R. The PAIR is a way for you to go ahead and take the information on a CMA, get the mortgage information from the homeowner, and let them know exactly how much equity they have. So instead of prospecting for a CMA, which every single one of your competitors are doing, instead say, listen, equity is really built up in a very big way over the last couple of years. If you would like, we'd love to offer you a professional equity assessment report. We'll come into your house, spend a few minutes there looking through the house, and then we'll come back and let you know exactly how much equity we believe you have in your home. And again, ladies and gentlemen, what is that? Well, it's pretty simple. We explain it in this report, and it's about 7 pages, very professionally done. As you can see down at the bottom left-hand corner, you can put the name of the client and the street address in. You can put your logo on the next page where it explains what is a professional equity assessment report. It's beautifully laid out, magazine quality, all right, that you're offering. And what do? We take the estimated home value. Where do we get that from? The same way we do a normal CMA. Then when we're there for that few minutes, we turn around and we ask them, how much money do you owe on your current mortgage? And you'll be amazed at how many people don't know the answer to that question. As a matter of fact, if you go back into the office or ask one of your friends, what's the amount you owe on your mortgage right now? Almost nobody knows that number. And when they do look at it, they're pleasantly surprised at how much they've paid down. So get that mortgage balance from them, and they might have to go get their last mortgage statement to get that. Then you subtract the mortgage balance from the estimated home value, and that's the equity. I took a normal house here, about $400 median price in the country. About what do we know? We know that's $274,000 in equity. That means that the mortgage balance on the average house in this country is $126,000. But you have to get their numbers, fill it in, and then bring this report back to them. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether you call the people and offer this as phone solicitation. Hey, listen, we're going to be in your neighborhood. We're offering a free professional equity assessment report. And once you know exactly how much the equity is in your home. I don't care if you do it in an email campaign. I don't care if you do it in a social media campaign. What we need to do is let them know, because people are interested in that. Let me let you know exactly how much equity, how much savings you have built into your home right now. And the nice thing about the report, ladies and gentlemen, is the report then, let's talk next steps. Now, we shouldn't be, again, you can put your logo on, your website URL. We shouldn't be telling them, oh, you got to sell, you got to sell, you got to sell. As I mentioned, some of these people are going to use the equity to help their children out. Some of the people are going to use the equity to help their children out with a student loan. Some of the people are going to use the equity to start a business. And we should be okay with all those things. But there's going to be a certain percentage that thought they were locked into the house because of mortgage rates, that now realize, wait a second, I either maybe could buy a house all cash, or I could put such a substantial down payment down that the mortgage rate really doesn't matter as much. But having that conversation, initiating that conversation, either by making a phone call, knocking on a door, putting in social media, putting in an email request, texting it out. Let's offer the homeowner something they want to know. All right. What is a CMA? Most homeowners don't even know what a CMA is. But they know they want to know what the equity in their home is. So this is a great lead gen for that. And it gets you in front of the people. Go over there, look at the house real quick. Ask them what the mortgage amount is, because you need that in order to give them their equity amount. Go back, do your CMA, and then set an appointment, sit down and talk with them. Now, again, this is a beautiful report, and I suggest very strongly you use it. All right. For the members or that are on this call, the KCM members, the subscribers, all you have to do is step number one, go to the training center. When you go into mykcm.com, all the way down at the bottom left-hand side is the training center. When you click on that, that page is going to show up. Just hit expert guides and templates. When you click on that, just scroll down. There's plenty, for the people that are not members, we have plenty of e-guides and other templates, listing presentations and buyer presentation templates on that page. So just scroll down for the members, scroll down, and you can go ahead and get the professional equity assessment report, what we call a pair, right on that page. For the non-members, obviously you can't go onto the site, but we still want you to have the report. So all you need to do is go to www.trykcm.com/pair. That page that you see in front of you is going to pop up. Put in your email address and we'll send you the pair. Now, for members, you also get scripts, you get a whole videos, everything that you need to really present it. If you're a non-member, you're going to get the pair and some information on how to use it. All right. But obviously, you're not going to get as much as if you were a member. But we still want you to use it because it's a really powerful tool and we need listings desperately. Okay. And for the members also, we do have, because we believe very, very, very strongly, and you should be doing videos, and even non-members should be doing a video. We put together a video script for you with beautiful visuals that you can use on your video. And that's available to you right now. How much equity do homeowners have today? It's a great way to introduce the pair to people. And again, we believe very strongly in video marketing is crucial to everyone right now. And for the members also, today's blog, and even for non-members, if you go to keepingcurrentmatters.com blog, what you're going to KCM blog, what you're going to find is a blog on the amount of equity people have and how much, what they could do with that equity, how important that equity is to them. And obviously, if you're a member, you can personalize that blog, send it out, simplifying the market, and it's coming directly from you. All right. So you have all of those things, and that's important. All right, so that covers what we were going to cover today as far as equity. Please download the pair, start using it. Let's stop complaining about there's no listings out there, and let's start doing something about it. All right, I think that's crucial. And next week, we're going to be covering expired listings, yours and theirs. Kind of interesting, yours and theirs. We're going to cover expired listings, and we're also going to touch on FSBOs. Because both of those things exist in the market today that haven't existed for the last couple of years. If you do expired listings right now, you'll be one of the few agents in your marketplace who are even thinking about it. So we're going to break that down exactly how to do expired listings. It's going to be more of a training session on how to get expired listings and how to convert a FSBO. Then the week after that, we're going to talk about the availability of listings with Airbnbs. Too many Airbnbs right now. Some people are considering selling it, and all investors. And I'm not talking about institutional investors. They own very, very few of the homes. Well over 90% of the homes are owned by mom and pop landlords. And guess what? They might be thinking about liquidating their portfolio right now because they've had a tremendous run over the last 3 years in appreciation. And we'll cover both of those points. And that's on September 25th. I want to end this session with this. Great agents believe trust is their strongest asset. And ladies and gentlemen, it is, especially when things are difficult. All right. So what I want you to think about right now, in a very big way, is how are you building that trust? How are you explaining to people, hey, listen, I'm here to help you. All right. We're confused in the market right now. The homeowner, we do it 24/7 and we're confused. Imagine how confused the homeowner is about all the crazy headlines out there. Let's make sure we're a place that can go for some sort of comfort to get the truth. Not the craziness, but the truth. Because trust is crucially important. Your credibility in a market like this is crucially important. And what we covered today, ladies and gentlemen, helping people understand how much equity they have in a home. And believe me, they don't understand. People are going to be shocked when they see the amount of equity they have in their home. And what they can do with that equity. Whether it's making a move or not. They're sitting on a ton of money that they can use, perhaps, if they'd like, to do a bunch of different things. Help out their kids, start a business, or maybe, just maybe, make the move that they've been delaying because they hear the market's crazy. Looking forward to the next time we get together. I appreciate your time today. You gave me a half hour of your life. I hope I gave you a great return on that investment. Please, before you walk away from your desks, please download the pair right now. Get a physical copy in your hands and look through it. You'll see how you can use it to really help a lot of families, a lot of individual people understand exactly what their options are right now. Again, till next week, let's keep on diving deep. These are fun for me. I hope you're enjoying them too.